Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stiff Upper Lip podcast. We are back for week 6. We missed out on week 5 because we were all busy. Max, you've just been to visit us. You weren't here specifically just to visit us, but you came on up here.
The intro still playing in the background for anyone else?
Yeah, it will be. Don't worry. It stays.
Okay.
It stays playing. It fades out gradually.
Yeah.
By design.
Sorry, I got scared because I usually just can't hear anything. I had a very pleasant trip for work purposes, but I managed to exploit the work purposes to go on a couple of jollies out in Sheffield City Centre, which was very nice.
Yeah, we found ourselves in the old Washington pub for a little bit, which was good. I'd never been, by the way, Sam, to the in its current form, to that Volition that we went in first. Vocation.
Yeah, the brew pub.
Yeah. I'd literally never been in there before, like outside of when I'd been in when it was called was it called the Fat Cat?
Old House.
An Old House, yeah.
Yeah.
That place
It's
has
good
had
shit. It's
many
decent beer.
owners. Yeah, it was pretty good. But yeah, so we didn't get a chance to record, which, following how week 5 went compared to week 6, maybe we missed out on something, because week 6 was certainly a clown ball showing from the NFL, that's for sure. Notable results went around the league. We are now out of undefeated teams, and also I think everybody's won again.
Notable results were available.
Yeah.
No, the Panthers.
The Panthers have not won. That is my bad. But yeah, we are out of undefeated teams, and somewhere Larry Zbyszko is cracking open a bottle of champagne.
Who?
Larry Zbyszko.
Do you mean Larry Sonker?
Who the hell is Larry Zbyszko? Who the hell is that? Yes, I am definitely rusty. You're probably a lot cleaner on the old ears. We've got a couple segments that we're going to do. I don't think that there's any real discussion about any of these games that I really had anything to say about. Did any of you guys want to cover any of these games?
No.
Were any of them good?
No. Moving on.
This was probably the worst.
I don't want anyone to labor on the illusion that a close game is necessarily a good game.
Oh, certainly not.
Yes, and
but
this week was definitely this week was definitely full of games that, if they had about 48% less clown ball, they might have been good, but Commanders Falcons, for example, where the Commanders won despite the Falcons having 4 straight possessions to end the game. It felt like Bengals Seahawks, where the Bengals get a low scoring win, and again Geno Smith seemed to have the ball for the entire fourth quarter, couldn't do anything with it. A game that we won't cover, but again similar sort of instance where it was close, but I wouldn't say it was good. But yeah, just a lot of games like that, really. But yeah, we are the Philadelphia Eagles were beaten by the New York Jets of all teams. So maybe there's some life left in the Zach Wilson Jets.
I mean, A-Rod was out there sans crutches, which a lot of people were excited about.
Yeah, he's gonna play. He's gonna come in just in time to play 64.9% of their snaps this year. Whatever. I don't. Yeah, I mean, we can touch on them in the segments, but the way that the weekend ended with that Giants game pretty much summed up how the weekend was going. Just you could have done it, but you didn't.
I figured out. I've just Googled who Larry Zbyszko is, and it turns out it's an old professional wrestler. So I've clearly got wrestling on the brain still. Which sums up
Larry
how
Zbyszko is fucking well up for every year. He loves loves it when teams lose.
Yeah. But yes, not very much in the way of games to talk about. Maybe you guys, or maybe you guys at home listening, might disagree with this, but it's our show and we don't care. So we're gonna get 2 segments right out of the way. I feel like this is quite an apt segment to start off with, which is teams we're absolutely sick of hearing about already. We're gonna do 2 little blasts around the NFL, one in like a sort of more full aspect, and then one as like more of a sort of speed round. I did a little randomizer wheel to determine the running order. We aren't going to be snaking it because that'd be a bit lame for something like this. So it goes Max, then me, then you, Sam. So, but yeah, the whole premise of this is like, which teams have had way too much coverage to be at this point? How exciting actually are they? Do we care? Are you just tired of hearing about a team that's good and constantly hearing about them? There's many reasons why you could say it, but ultimately, which team are we sick of hearing about? Yeah, great. I don't really know how you want to sort of go for it. I'm kind of glad that it came out with you first, Max, because this is kind of your brainchild. So much is most of these segments. You're a real ideas guy.
I wanted to try and get through this without any of us coming off as just saying the team, and anyone thinking like, oh, it's just because you're a hater. So there's some teams who I could mention, but I couldn't conscionably do it and not think like that was just me being a hater. So what I thought about was, what teams am I fed up of hearing because it's the same stuff? We never hear anything different. It's it's been years and years, and this team still has the same strengths and the same problems. And the team that I'm sick of hearing about at the moment is the Baltimore Ravens, because they're not a bad team by any means. I mean, I don't think I'd put them up in the top elite tier of contenders. I think they're a good team. I don't even not enjoy watching them, like I'll happily watch a Ravens game. But I just, the talk about the Ravens has been the same since like 2019. Lamar Jackson, he's playing really well. If you watch it, you think, yeah, he's playing all right, but he could probably do better. He's grading out as like a top 3 quarterback according to PFF. His receivers can't catch. The offensive line's not great. They're not really able to run the ball, and the defense, and there's constant injuries on both sides of the ball, to be fair. And it's the same thing every year. And I'm just sick of hearing about it. Like, just don't just do something different, please, because I can't constantly hear more like, oh, is this the year Rashad Bateman's going to make the leap? Or why isn't Odell Beckham the same as he was? It's always the same.
All anyone's talking about is Rashad Bateman. I'm sick of it.
I mean, in fairness, it's quite a good team that you've sort of picked up on here, because you are right in the sense that it's the same story, it feels like, every year. And it's like, it'll get to sort of week 9 and all of them will get hurt, and it'll be like, oh, if only this team wasn't so injured, they might make a deep run, and then they'll meet the Titans in the playoffs and lose. And it's like, okay, so next year when they're healthy, we'll get to see what Rashad Bateman looks like in a healthy NFL offense, and Mark Andrews is going to be like up there exactly on the same level as Travis Kelce, because like he's not going to have Tyler Huntley throwing in the ball, and then he'll have Tyler Huntley throwing in the ball again the very next season. Every year.
Even the things that are different, like the actual changes this year, it's all just the most tiring bullshit. Like, finally, Lamar will be unlocked by Todd Monken.
Yeah.
And the play calling has been fucking atrocious. Like, the red zone offense for this team is like mind-bendingly shit.
Again, I don't want to be a hater. And a lot of these things are not even wrong. I do think, I think Lamar is probably one of the most impervious to criticism quarterbacks in the league, to be honest. But I do think that a lot of it isn't remotely his fault. I think he's been let down by his receivers. He is always basically trying to carry the team by himself, but they get down to the red zone, they kick a short field goal, and when I was watching that Titans match, I was just thinking come back to me when you.
After the whole fanfare with OBJ in the off season as well, and he's been fucking dreadful. He's been absolutely nothing to them. They're just they're consistently pretty good, but absolutely the most consistently one of the most consistently annoying teams in the league.
And I think part of the reason as to why they're annoying is that we do want some of the things that keep getting repeated as not excuses almost, but forgivenesses as to why maybe they've underperformed, and it's the same 3 things every time, and it's never changed because like you say, I mean, last year it was all about Greg Roman and Lamar Jackson's hurt, but Greg Roman's play calling has been atrocious, especially when it comes to in the red zone, for example. We need to work a sort of more NFL ready passing offense into the system. And then especially last week I was watching it, and granted the Ravens had 9 drops from their receivers, which seems to also always happen every year, loads of drops because the guys that they have just aren't good enough. But the play call, especially to run a fade with OBJ to the outside, and I know it's a bad throw from Lamar Jackson and stuff, but this is all the same problems. It doesn't matter who's calling the game, and I don't even really understand what happened, especially in week 5, because the whole coaching staff seems to never learn a lesson from anything. So yeah, it is weird, and we're sort of talking as though they're a bad team because they're not. They're 4-2.
No, I wouldn't be.
They're playing well. They probably could be 6-0, but I'm sick of hearing about it. I get it.
Right, we should probably move along if you want to get to it, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna slightly twist into not full hater territory because I'm gonna save that for the speed, but I am absolutely sick to death of hearing about the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, that was my second one, to be fair.
Yeah. All throughout the last 2 years, the Atlanta Falcons have been one of these teams that they could be frisky. They seem like an exciting team. But every single time that I've watched them, they are at the very best mid, and at their very worst unwatchable garbage. They are genuinely turgid trying to move the football, and it doesn't matter who is in there, it doesn't matter who the play caller is, it doesn't matter who the guy under center is. For 2 years now, it has been the exact same NFL franchise, and it's coming off of 20 years of being basically the same NFL franchise, except even when they're good, they still can't win. So what's the point in caring? Why is everybody on the Falcons, and now everybody's gonna jump off the Falcons because finally they've understood that Desmond Ridder isn't very good, and it was a pretty long shot that he was gonna be good in the NFL. But why did they have so much hype for the last, especially 18 months? They didn't show anything.
I don't think people were that hyped coming into this season after the way Ridder played last year.
No.
But they do get a disproportionate amount of talk about them, and I'll tell you for why. It's because of the fantasy implications, and that is another thing where I'm so sick of hearing about.
I'm so sick of Kyle Pitts. I'm tired of hearing about the team, and especially as well because you're absolutely right in that it is the fantasy aspect. All anybody talks about is, Kyle Pitts is basically a wide receiver, but he's a massive wide receiver. He should be really good, and he's really explosive despite being a tight end. Well, he gets 3 targets a game, and I don't give a flying fuck if you started him in your fantasy. I don't care.
Even when he gets more than 3 targets a game, people are still Oh, wait! Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Yeah,
Go on.
yeah.
Also,
I'm so sick of hearing about the Atlanta Falcons. And there
Also-
are guys on the team that are like unsung heroes. Like, it's still mad to me that Jesse Bates has been playing incredibly well, and like AJ Terrell has been fantastic, and because they're not on the offensive side of the ball, and you know, fantasy football and exciting, extraordinary Arthur Smith offense, dynamic football, they're not getting any of the attention. But I have to hear about Drake London being targeted once in a game. I don't care. I'm done.
shit, will get off the pot, Arthur. Change the quarterback, or quit. Grow up.
Much to think about.
Sam, would you like to hit us with yours?
Yeah, so I initially was tempted to pick the Patriots for this, but I at least find their abject failure interesting and the eventual outcome and the whole Belichick of it all. But there's one team that is stuck in an absolute quagmire, if you don't mind my saying. That I don't care about, and I don't care about any of the narrative surrounding them, and it's the Denver Broncos.
Fair enough.
Nothing about them is really the defense that was kind of hyped up as being like a defense that could, if they could like fix Russell Wilson a bit, could carry them, and it has been awful. And even when Russell Wilson's been good, just the play calling's been shambolic. It's I like seeing Sean Payton fail because I think he's a smarmy twat, but I'd gladly just put them in a box and stack 6 feet of dirt on top.
Yeah, what you said. The funny part is, even when Russell Wilson does play well, there's always something. There's always something with the Broncos. They're just they're like one of the teams in the NFL right now where you can't see a future for them. There's no viable future.
Yeah, in this current state, I can't imagine them going forward with Russell Wilson and having success of any sort. I can't imagine them going forward with Sean Payton and having success of any sort. The whole thing is just dreadful, and dreadful in a like not even an entertaining way.
Yeah, and another thing that does wind me up is that every year, we didn't hear it that much this year, but previously we did hear a lot of this Broncos team, they've got weapons though. They've got weapons. I think everyone grew up this year and realised that actually Jerry Jeudy is not that good a receiver. This year has been awful. Even he was mediocre. And then Cortland Sutton is inconsistent. Then there's a bunch of guys who, honestly, it was just delusional to think they were going to be.
Careful though, it's spicy.
Yeah, I think as well, another reason why I'm sick of hearing them is there's almost sort of, it's not even really funny to laugh at them anymore, because like we've been laughing at them for 15 months, and there's only so much legs you can get out of a bad team being bad, and then it becomes the only way that they would become funny again in any way, shape, or form is if they then go 0-17, which they aren't gonna do because they've already won a game, but like. Their win, it wasn't exciting. Like, even though it was a mad comeback against the Bears, it wasn't exciting because it was the Bears. And their losses all play out in various like levels of like incompetence, and they make bad teams look good, but not in an entertaining way. Like, we're not getting Dan Orlovsky stepping out the back of the end zone levels of like excitement. We're not getting Gardner Minshew throwing like 200 passes without a pick and then throwing 4 picks in a game. We're getting an unlikable human being coaching a team of unlikable human beings playing terrible football, but in a really boring way. I am also sick of the Denver Broncos.
The Denver Broncos.
The Denver. Yeah. I think owning a football team is pretty good. Max, would you like to take a second little stab at this time? Let's speed it up a little bit.
On the speed round, yeah, okay. We did spend a lot of time talking about the first one. The team that I am kind of sick of hearing about is the Jacksonville Jaguars. As you know, I have never really been that much of a believer in them, and I just think it's going to come crashing down. But there's this weird subsection of NFL Twitter who constantly talk about the Jags. They're always banging on about Trevor Lawrence, but the fact of the matter is that there's still some distance away from actually being a team who deserve that level of attention. Nice, it's a cute little operation they've got down
there. All right. It's fair enough. I'm gonna go in a completely opposite route to I think where most people probably are, and I'm sick of hearing about the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not because of they are clearly a good team, but there are so many things that everybody talks about constantly with them, and they have done for 5 or 6 years. It started with every time that Mahomes makes any kind of play, ESPN, NBC, Fox, CBS all go mental. There's always the the Nance Romo game, and it's always the Chiefs. We're always hearing about the Bengals and Chiefs in the AFC title game. We're always hearing about them in the Super Bowl, and now there's an even more irritating aspect, which is we are always hearing about the Chiefs because of Donna Kelsey and fucking Taylor Swift. I'm not even hearing about them on the field anymore. I am just seeing nothing but off the field stuff. And it's like, isn't it exciting that Taylor Swift and Donna Kelsey were high-fiving in the booth? No, it's not exciting. I don't care. This is a good team that has been the same level of good forever. I'm bored of it now. I'm bored. I'm ready for someone else to come along and sweep them off their feet and have a bit more of an exciting aspect in the AFC. I'm sick of the Chiefs. I'm tired of it. Let's just start to begin maybe a 5-year period where the Chiefs aren't amazing. How about that? Mahomes can still be good, but do you know that Brady Patriots period in sort of maybe 2008 through 2015 where they sort of didn't really do very much in the postseason, and there was reason for it, but they stopped being the best team in the NFL for ages. And I got to enjoy some other teams being in the Super Bowl, like the Ravens, the Steelers, there's loads of other teams. The Broncos, the Colts. There are other teams that could make the Super Bowl. I am tired of the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, it's literally exactly the same thing as the Patriots, where they start off shit every year, and everyone's like, well, maybe this is going to be different. Let's skip to January because we all know what's happening.
Yeah, Sam, your last one.
It's very brave of Tom to suggest that Donna Kelsey and Taylor Swift should be summarily executed on the field before their next game for the good of their season.
No, don't. I'm not getting lynched by Swifties.
Yeah. No, I get it.
It was saying, I wouldn't necessarily have suggested that he was wrong to say it.
Oh, certainly not. And I think we stand with him. But I will. I mean, I guess this would fall under just hater shit. But the Dallas Cowboys. Every narrative every season is going to be exactly the same. They will not accomplish anything. The constant warning and it'd be the playoffs or the Super Bowl will be better with them in it. Why? They'll accomplish nothing. It'll be the same media cycle all over again, and I hate it. I don't think that any kind of spouses or parents of the players should be executed, though.
I
I
didn't realize that we were going to go into full blown like right wing grifties here.
Oh no!
But I don't want anyone executed. I'm just I just don't care about the Chiefs. But you're right to say that the Cowboys have been the same story for 30 years now. Let's give it a rest.
I'm sick of hearing about these teams that we're sick of hearing about.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Steer us away from these choppy waters.
All right, let's all row. Like, let's all Paul, and start rowing as quickly as we can away from.
I'm more like the guy that sits at the front of the boat with that like
the coxswain
that he shouts into. Yeah, the coxswain.
The coxswain, is that his name?
Yeah, I assume so.
Okay.
Sounds like a boating thing.
Yeah. Okay, Max, whereabouts would you be on a rowing team?
Well, it depends obviously on the size of the vessel in question. My natural position, I would probably go second from the front.
Oh, okay.
Although, yeah, maybe actually second from the back, because that's always the best place. That's always the best train carriage to pick in case you drive into another train.
In case you hit a swan mid-race, you don't want to be at the front.
Oh, heavens no!
God's sake. Okay, we're going to turn on then to some playoff predictions that are way too early. It is week 6. We're a third of the way through the year, and we've already got some fairly decent things. We also made some like preseason predictions. I don't know if you guys can remember. All of us are currently in a little bit of trouble, apart from Sam, who weirdly his postseason make or miss was fairly reasonable, with like the Chargers missing, Steelers making. That still could happen. I said that the Dolphins don't make it, and oh boy, Ed said the Eagles don't make it, and double oh boy. And Max said that the Jags or Lions will miss the playoffs and the Broncos will make them. So, no, banged in a big spot. But yes,
Daniel Jones 5,500 all-purpose yards is.
It's not going good. But yeah, so in terms of like playoff scenarios, I guess, heading into obviously Monday night where the Chargers and Cowboys haven't played yet. So the Chargers are still at 2-2 and second in the division. Do we have any playoff predictions? Max, would you like to take a little stab at perhaps the AFC title game?
Yeah, I would. I'm actually going to say it will be. Oh my god! It will be at Arrowhead, and it will be for the visit of. Oh, I don't really believe in any of these teams. I suppose I will say the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
My thought would be, I think it's pretty clear in the AFC that as it stands, your top 3 teams. Obviously, once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. But the top 3 teams, as it is probably the Dolphins, Bills, and Chiefs. But I still think that the Dolphins, when the weather gets cold, there's something that happens to these teams that are all built on speed in temperate climates. I think ultimately it's a muddy man's game, and I don't think the Dolphins are willing to get dirty when it really matters.
Uniforms? God no.
No. I mean, think about the muddiest game the Dolphins have ever played. They lost that one 3-0.
that is true.
I mean, famously, dolphins can't survive in any water under 20 degrees.
Well, exactly. It's going to be fucking cold. They're going to have to, at some point, play in the cold, possibly at Orchard Park or Arrowhead, and I just don't think they're cut out for that.
Yeah, the Dolphins is a weird one because obviously the main narrative is like, oh, it's impossible to play in Miami until like mid-December because the sideline that you're going to be sat on is basically sat at a temperate 48 degrees Celsius just throughout the whole game. But they are pretty bad when it comes to playing in cold weather. We'll have to see. I don't know why I picked you out and just made you pick the AFC title game. Do you have any like other playoff predictions, Max?
You mean the NFC Championship game?
I mean, you can do the NFC Championship game.
I wanna go out. I want to be bold here. I think that the one of the Vikings or the Commanders will make the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
I think the 49ers. I was watching, every year the 49ers kind of have this moment where like they start the year right at the top of their ceiling, and then they just kind of like slowly dip down from there, like various injuries and stuff. And also the thing with the you know what I'm saying about the teams that are built on speed in the winter. They'll probably still be there to their great credit, but they normally lose, and then everyone's like, well, if they've been healthy, it'll be a different story. They'll be there. The Eagles will be there. The Cowboys will be there, but will embarrass themselves again, most likely. The Lions will be there. And then after that, you're thinking like the Seahawks or the Rams or the Vikings, Commanders. One of those NFC South teams is going to make it in somehow. So I really think there's a good I wanted to just say the Vikings make the playoff, but I chickened out.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean that's entirely fair enough. It feels like the NFC especially is kind of every division has one utter toilet team, and then there are two teams that have a shot of making it, and then there's like a clear favorite except in the South. But yeah, it is interesting. Sam, have you got any bold playoff predictions that you would like to make right now in week 6?
Yes, I'm just realizing I should have had the Commanders as my. I'm so sick of this team, but just because it.
So your two of yours were the Commanders and the Cowboys.
Well,
I
maybe
stated intent to not be just the haters.
Oh, I can't believe I don't love a team with a defense that I constantly got told was good and now sucks ass, and Daniel Jones plus at quarterback.
They were all right. The defense isn't that bad.
Suck my ass.
Well, it wasn't that bad against the Falcons, but it was that bad 3 weeks in a row.
Look at a team playing Emmanuel Forbes at cornerback and tell me you can take them seriously.
I didn't say I was taking them seriously. I just said I think they'll make the playoffs in the NFC. Potentially.
Yeah. My playoff prediction / wish casting is that the Texans make it in, because I think it would be far more interesting and far more fun to have a plucky Texans team there instead of like a Jags team that would likely just go out in the wild card anyway, and they'd still just be stuck in the same like negative feedback loop. And who wouldn't want another game of CJ Stroud?
I like that.
Yeah, that feels frisky as well, because D'Amico Ryans has got them up for playing like they're buzzing around the quarterback every time they go out and play defense.
Yeah.
And, like, he's getting Steven Nelson looking like.
Yeah, but I do also think there's a point where at the business end of the season, talent really starts taking over, and the Texans' defense is really well coached, but very talent deficient.
I mean, yeah, there's quite a big talent disparity, but it's not. I mean, it's not like, you know, like if any division were to be like won by a team like that, it would be the NFC South. Like in a division full of, you know, mediocrity and sub-mediocrity.
You mean the AFC South?
AFC South.
Yeah.
Where else would that kind of coaching matter more?
Yeah, it's fair. I think the Jags are still a well-coached team. Like, I know that it's just sort of overstated. Like, they're meant to be a lot better than they've actually been so far. But like, I still think that they're pretty well-coached. I'm keeping my eye out for them like dropping off, but I still, I'm more with Max in the sense of like talent, especially when you're sort of in like week 11 and you just need some fucking high-end talent to bullshit your way through a game, like a close game. And as a Steelers fan, I'm very well aware of a week 11 bullshit high-end talent performance carrying you through a game. I'm not sure whether or not the Texans have got that high-end talent right now. Like, especially on defense, obviously, like CJ Stroud is the high-end talent, and like Nico Collins has been good, but they are still one of the more talent-poor sides in the NFL. But I like it though. That's a frisky prediction.
Yeah. Why not dream of a better world?
Yeah, exactly. I don't really have anything friskier than the Texans making it, without just being like utterly stupid. But if I was gonna be that person and say something really dumb, I would say that the entire AFC North makes the playoffs.
The entire AFC North.
AFC North. So the Ravens, Steelers, Redacted, and Bengals all make the playoffs.
What? I don't think that the fourth best AFC North team will have a better record than the Dolphins or the Bills.
No.
Hey,
but
I'm just sort of looking at it because
Tua hits his head on the ground a couple more times. Let's come back to it.
I didn't want to be that person, but like,
what are their records at the moment?
Well, they're all either at 500 or above it. So the Ravens are 4-2, the Steelers 3-2, Redacted 3-2, and Bengals 3-3. The Bengals have started heating up, so I'm all right with them being 3-3. Jish team have just posted historic numbers for defense through 5 weeks, and like they are missing key players that they are potentially likely to get back. I don't want to talk about them anymore, but they feel like a playoff potential team. The Steelers are 3-2, and their 2 losses were against like Shanahan coach sides, and they ain't going to be facing anyone else in the Shanahan mold. And it was also the hardest part of their schedule. And the Ravens are 4-2, and again, like if they just stay healthy, they can also just churn out wins. They've all played each other at least once, or at the very least, they've played at least 2 divisional games against each other. So it's not like they can trip each other up very much anymore. I legitimately think that there will be a point, especially if this injury to Josh Allen ends up being a little serious. There is talk that he's hurt his shoulder, or say for example, like Tyreek Hill pulling up turns into 4 weeks on the sidelines or something. there feels like there could be slip-ups elsewhere, and the entire AFC North could basically just snowball their way through the rest of the conference, because they all kind of have a weak-ass schedule. That's my thinking.
Yeah, it would need to... It's not going to happen normally. Something would have to happen, right? But it's not impossible.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I say, this is a sort of bolder prediction that it'd play right into my hands if the Dolphins were the ones that didn't make the playoffs in the AFC East, because then that's this prediction and my preseason one coming true. But right now it's not looking good. But I'm still banking on it that the entire AFC North makes the playoffs.
I mean, my preseason thing was that the Steelers make it, which I no longer feel good about, but
they've got a better record than half the teams in the NFL, that's for sure.
It's not impossible.
It's not. I think that at this point, like, anything can fucking happen with any of those four teams, and it wouldn't surprise me if they all just won a shit ton more games towards the end of the year. Like, all of them have good coaches and good players that can all win games for them individually, and there are teams on their schedule that absolutely do not have that. Is what I'm thinking. But that is my playoff prediction, just to be bold with it. Yes.
You want to do a quick speed round?
Fuck it. One? Yeah, go on. Max?
I wasn't expecting this. Rams miss out.
They've been frisky.
Yeah. Frisky enough for it to be spicy.
Yeah.
Third best team in the division.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This isn't a make-miss, but the Lions getting the 1 seed in NFC.
I like that. Picking who the 1 seed will be. Because obviously once it gets to playoff time, then like anything can happen, but like picking the 1 seed, that feels frisky, you know. I quite like that.
It just the Niners game yesterday, I feel like it opened a door in my brain wherein I realized that Brock Purdy kind of sucks ass.
Oh yeah.
That's
the thing with Brock Purdy is that it's never. Whenever you watch a Niners offensive drive, you never think, "Wow, Brock Purdy." It's always, "Wow, he had ages back there. Wow, that dude was open. Wow, what a run after the catch. Wow, Christian McCaffrey. Wow, what a play design." But it's never, "Wow, Brock Purdy."
Yeah, and the people that do say "Wow, Brock Purdy" either went to Iowa,
looking at the box score,
or looking at pure box score. Yeah.
It's not to discredit him, but I actually think Brock Purdy and Jared Goff are at the same level.
I absolutely don't believe that.
You think Jared Goff is better than Brock Purdy?
I think Jared Goff has shown that he can make throws better than Brock Purdy can, but they both rely on the high-end talent of their O-line especially.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like they both, like Jared Goff also relies massively, guys that can produce when kept clean. But I just think Goff has shown that he can. I mean, he can actually throw a deep ball, which I'm sure the Niners, scheme is more of a roadblock to that than Purdy's arm. But I've seen nothing from Brock Purdy this season that makes me think he's like anything but like a level below Jared Goff.
I don't want to turn this into a whole Brock Purdy versus Jared Goff thing, because
it seems like we're already there.
Who wants to actually? I don't want to talk about that.
That is, yeah.
I'm gonna use my speed playoff prediction to pick that the Seahawks don't make it. I think that the Seahawks are the third best team in the NFC West.
Oh.
I'm counter predicting against Max when he said that the Rams were the third best. I was like, no. The Seahawks with no O-line, they're the worst. Yeah.
No, they're going to get these back.
Well, how good are those dudes is also my question.
They're fine.
I mean,
Nuno Smith is basically just like a slightly worse version of Jared Goff.
Why is Jared? Oh, is Jared Goff the new Andy Dalton?
He kind of is.
Well, the Dalton scale was always like he is only as good as the pieces that you put around him, and he is the exact median quarterback. Maybe Jared Goff is.
I don't think Sam had a fully formed NFL conscience at the time when Andy Dalton was actually good.
Oh God,
that is true.
What time would you say was prime Dalton?
2017.
Yeah, it's around like 2014 through 2017. Yeah,
I got all of. I didn't watch a game that wasn't the Super Bowl until. What year did we start this podcast?
2019.
Probably 2018.
Okay.
So right, maybe those two things are in fact related then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I feel like this is a good place to call it a day. Thank you for everyone for listening. Hopefully week 7 we'll actually have a game that's worth talking about, where we'll also be covering trades that we would like to see in the build-up to the trade deadline. So I had like a little brain fart there. But yes, we will be back next week. We've got no sort of overarching schemes and plans to derail us. So yeah, get preparing, fellas. It's trades we'd like to see, and also submit teams that you're sick of on our Twitter at SniffLipPod. And keep on scorming, baby.